Right, so a few days ago, I went to Oxford. I was kind of on a work day out, and I used my lunch hour or so to have a wander around Oxford and basically take some photos. I had my Lumix GX1 with 2 lenses. I had my Insta360 Go 3 and my DJI Osmo Pocket. These were for video, and obviously this one for photography. And all of this was in my current sort of camera sling, which is by a company called Gutium. I got this off Amazon. I do like it, but I have ordered another bag for use from this manufacturer. And as soon as I get that, I'll obviously show you what it is. Now, I got 3 takeaways from that day in Oxford, or that short period of time in Oxford, and I've got one bonus tip at the end. Now, for those of you that can't be bothered to watch, here's the too long didn't watch version. My 3 street photography takeaways from that day is: 1, don't try and force it; 2, have a look at the photos afterwards, you might be a little bit surprised; and 3, don't take so much kit with you. That's my 3. Now, if you want the bonus one, you're going to have to watch the video first and actually look at some of my photos. That's why we're here, isn't it? So number 1, firstly, I felt this overwhelming amount of pressure to get stuff done, to get photos taken and to get some good photos. Now, I hadn't given myself a huge amount of time. It wasn't a whole day out. It was literally like hour and a half, 90 minutes maximum that hour and a half and 90 minutes are the same, I believe. It was literally about an hour to an hour and a half. That was all I had. And I wanted to make a video because, that's what I'm doing here. And I wanted to get some good photos. Now, there seems to be this thing with street photography that you want to capture somebody passing an open doorway or walking into a pool of light or whatever, those kind of things. And yes, there are absolutely great examples of those. There are places for those, but it feels like a bit of a cop-out. And I found myself trying to take these kind of photos, people passing spaces, passing windows, passing gaps or whatever. And it just felt like I was taking photos because I'd seen other people taking them. And I'm not sure that's the right way to do it. So I was trying to force those kind of images out of my photography. And I don't know. I like the idea, but I think at times it just feels like a bit of a cop-out that you got a window, you got a gap, you've got a pool of light. As long as somebody's walked into it, you go, yeah, I've taken some street photos. So I struggled a little bit. I did surprise myself in a few places, so there were times where some of those shots did seem to work, and there were others that I just thought, that just looks pretty rubbish, really, and I don't know why I took the photo. It just felt like it was the right thing to do. Rather than see something that you like and take a photo of that, I was looking for those sort of cliche street photos, and I'm sure I'll get into this in other videos in the future, and I will backpedal a little bit because they're absolutely great photos, but it just felt to me like it's a bit of a cliche, and it wasn't what I was trying to do. That said, what I did try from time to time was to try and spot colors and stuff like that and match things up. And probably one of my favorite photos of the day is this particular one here, where I was just sort of passing this, I don't know what it is, a nail bar or something, and I just spotted this pink table outside, and there happened to be a lady sat inside with pink on, and perfect. That was kind of what I was looking for in that instance. But prior to that, I was just taking these like shallow depth of field photos of things and just trying to create a picture. So let me know what you think. You've seen some of my photos by now. Let me know below what you think. Have I captured that kind of street photography vibe in some of these? I don't know if I have. I think there's a few that came out well. And then, that brings me on to point number 2. By the time I got back to the car, I knew I had maybe 1 or 2 photos that were okay for me. But then it was only when I got home and I put them on the big screen on my computer that actually, when I looked a little deeper into some of the photos, that maybe there were some interesting things, like you could see like a glance on someone's face, or that random shot I took of somebody walking past a doorway I thought was quite interesting, because, you know, there was like for instance, there's a dog going one way, but then what looked like a father and daughter are looking behind. What are they doing? Are they waiting for mum to catch up? Are they calling somebody? Whatever, you know, things like that I thought actually worked out to be quite interesting. But often I got my timing wrong. These guys were walking past me at one point, and they stopped and gave me a little bit of a thumbs up, but by the time I snapped the photo, they disappeared. So that's me not being aware and in tune of everything. But I thought, to be honest, I ended up with a photo at the end. It was quite interesting, but it's not quite perhaps what I should have got in that moment. So definitely don't think that you've come away with nothing, because by the time you get back to your desk, your computer, whatever, and you start to, you know, perhaps crop in, maybe add a little bit of a filter, or, you know, add a little bit of a filter or some kind of like Lightroom LUT or plugin or whatever you want to call them. I'm no expert on that either. By the time you do that, sometimes, you know, some colors might pop. You might get, you might decide that you want to completely desaturate them. And actually, I did see a few photos that I took that I thought would actually work better as black and white, and I've, you know, presented those to you here. And I thought, actually, these aren't terrible pictures when it came down to it. So I think by the end of the day, when I came home, I think I probably got 10 photos that I was happy to share with my level of photography and what I think my skill level is. I think actually there was a few photos that I was quite pleased with. I've shared them on Instagram. They've had a few likes. I'm gonna hopefully get some feedback from you guys on this video. But basically, lesson number 2 is, don't think that you got nothing, because when you come to look at them afterwards, I'm sure you'll find something. And as I say, whether it's just a reframing, a recropping or something, there'll be something, because you have to back yourself to think that there was something in that moment why you took that photo, and then look at that photo and think, actually, you know, what was it I was looking at then? Was I looking at this mysterious person stood over here on the left-hand side and trying to get a moment there, but then accidentally I've caught something here? But, you know, maybe do you know, just back yourself that you've taken something, and I'm sure you'll be able to find some kind of image out of it. My third takeaway from this little photo walk, this little street photography session, was that I took too much kit with me. I'm trying to do maybe too many things at once here. I'm trying to start a new YouTube channel and make videos, and I'm also trying to improve my photography. So what I've been doing is I've been taking this little attachment here, which I'll link to in the description, and this, with this magnetic mount, means that I can, excuse me, means that I can mount my Insta360 on the top of the camera. Now this is a third-party magnet jobby here, so it doesn't go in as neatly as I'd like, but it's quite a neat little solution. So many years ago when I tried doing this, I put a GoPro on top, and I know that's what a lot of people do. Sometimes you see some of these other guys where they've got a little arm out here with a 360 on or whatever. This is nice and subtle. I only wish that, looking back now, I bought the black version of this, although they brought the black version out after I bought this one. So maybe I'll take some spray paint or a Sharpie to it, who knows. Let me know, should I vandalize my Insta360 below. So taking videos and photos at the same time becomes a little bit, you're trying to do two things. And I have used this in the past. This is a very old version of the DJI Osmo Pocket, and I've started taking that out because it's quite good for getting quite subtle photography video moments, because this on here is one thing. Obviously I can put this on a magnet around here, I can clip it to a cap, I can put on a big chest mount or something, but something like this I can actually carry in my hand like that with the, I should show you. So I can carry it. You can imagine if this is down by my waist, I can carry this down quite low, and I can just be filming where I'm walking quite easily, and it takes a reasonably steady footage, as you will know from these kind of things. But what this meant was I was carrying too much. I was trying to get footage with this. I was trying to get footage with this. I had two lenses on this camera, not this little sort of pancake one here, but I have a 25mm prime, and I have the 14 to 42mm kit lens that come with it. And while the 14 to 42mm kit lens kind of does the same job as the 25mm, I just found myself swapping out. So I was swapping between two lenses. I was deciding to record with this camera or this camera, and all in all, it just becomes a little bit too much, and I need to learn to manage that. If I'm going to do photography and make videos about it, it just becomes a little bit, a little too complicated. Bonus tip then was, I am a big fan of notebooks. I have lots of notebooks. Let me just show you this. This is just scratching the surface. I like to take notes. I like to plan stuff. I mean, for this video channel, I got a moleskin notepad here, and this has got, in the front half of here now, loads of ideas of videos that I want to make for this channel, and loads of notes and stuff. Now, I know you can do this on a notes app on your phone or something, but I like pen and paper. And what did I use this for the other day? Well, I used this basically to take a list of places I wanted to visit. So I knew I wanted to get to the Bridge of Sighs. I wanted to get to St Mary's Passage and try and get a photo of the so-called Narnia lamppost, the Magdalen Bridge with the boats on the river. Loads. Christchurch Memorial Hall. I'm not even sure I got there in the end, but yeah, there were a few things on here. There's a few things I didn't get to because I was rushing, and a few things now that I can tick off and say that I've been to and then come back. That is really overexposed, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. So I think this is a really good tip for photographers. So if you've decided that you're going to go somewhere today to go and take photos and you've never been there before, make a list of the things that you want to see. You know, do your research on the computer beforehand, and I want to go and see this, this, and this, and then you know that that's what you want. Perhaps make a list of the type of shots you want as well. You know, that's another thing that you can do, and this is a really powerful tool, I think, for photography. And for me, making a YouTube channel as well, what I'm really got to try and get better at, especially with the whole videoing side of things, is actually try and get a list of video shots that I want to get, as well as photos that I want to get. So yeah, there we go. There's my tips. Thanks for sticking with me. If you have stuck with me throughout this whole video, if you haven't and you just came straight to the end, you missed loads. You want to go back and watch it.